Hi there.
Is this thing on? Brooke, let me in my feelings, bitch.
It is a big g'day from the USA. That is right. We are back again for another week here on Uncensored Radio Live, UCR Live for short, as Jeffrey likes it said. My name is Steve. With me in the Jeffrey Emmett Studios live in New York, we have the luscious Luke.
Hello, everybody. How are we all?
The ever beautiful Brooke.
Hello.
And one and only Mr. Uncensored himself, Mr. Jeffrey Emmett.
Is Luke wearing the same shirt as last week?
No.
I
I'm not.
Don't forget cat.
And of course, I'll get to her. We have the beautiful Miss Christina with us via New Jersey, Long Island. Sorry, Long Island. And 10 minutes down the road, we have the ever vivacious Miss Vera. How are you two ladies going?
Your feelings?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I have too many feelings.
I had a feeling you'd say that. And of course, we cannot forget we are under the ever watchful eye of the one and only Miss Katrina A. Johnson from Nickelodeon's All That. She won't say a lot, but she will serve a look. That's right. Did we explain the dress last week?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I
Okay.
think we did.
So, Jeff, do you want to explain the dress to people at home?
So another lifetime ago, we started the show with Katrina Johnson and Karen Ashley from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and they were in the wedding, my wedding.
The wedding.
The wedding.
The
The
one.
wedding. If you go back, you can
The
listen
wedding.
to all the drama. And, Karen Ashley from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers got called the cunt on air. It was in June. You can go back and
That was
listen
a
to it.
beautiful moment.
It really was. By my ex-sister-in-law. And that is Katrina A. Johnson's
Yes.
bridesmaid dress that I hated and didn't want, but needless to say, it got picked. And
Did Katrina get upskirted at any time?
yes.
Yeah? Okay.
So those
That
pictures
was
are out there
bad.
somewhere.
That's nice. That is nice.
Now we will talk about it because it's happened. The nearly impossible has happened. We actually
Katie didn't do the show.
no, I said the nearly impossible. We all actually got together in the flesh. Hello, look, live from Vera's Lounge Room. We have the majority of our cast there.
Yeah.
The lovely Miss Dakota drove in, and of course Miss Christina drove in as well. We flew in. Kelly from the Monday show was there. We've caught up with Dana. We've caught up with who else have we caught up with? We've seen a lot of people from Uncensored Radio in the last couple of days.
Brian
Been
was
busy.
there.
Yes, true. We've been busy little beavers. So, Christina, we're going to go to you. How does it feel to meet all these people in person?
Well, I'm still alive, so I mean, you guys aren't killing. That's a good thing, right? Yeah. I didn't leave with any diseases, so that was another plus. And yeah, no, I love you guys. I want to come back out. I feel like I didn't have enough time. That's for sure. I was only there for one night, and it definitely wasn't enough. I love you guys. This was awesome. It was an awesome experience. The furthest I drove by myself ever in life, so that was cool. And yeah,
Really?
Jeffrey, thank you so much for hosting everybody, and Vera too. The party, thank you so much. Everything was great. I had such a good time.
You bought bagels.
You brought bagels, I know.
We're obsessed with the freaking bagels, and I have to say, so was I. Those were the
So can I
best.
explain the bagels? Real,
Oh, great.
like 30
Christina,
seconds.
I legit couldn't get a bagel in Salem because these bitches fought me for it, and they were way stronger.
Look, no, fuck him. Just saying. Fuck him.
I actually found 2 leftovers in the pantry, so I had one today. I was like, yes,
I
I
never
didn't
had
tell
bagels
me.
that came home with
I
me
win.
from Salem.
It was good. But Vera, you hosted us, so That's a lot of energy in one room. How did that go for your house? Was it recovered?
Yeah, Vera, tell us.
it's
How did you
not
feel the
a
party
bit.
went?
I love to throw a party. I love having people in my house. I enjoy, prepping the house and welcoming people here. I mean, I about the hospitality. Not everybody loves it as much as everybody else, but I do.
I feel like, especially after COVID, we've kind of forgotten what it's like to have people in our house. It's like, oh, okay, there's folks around, and we got to be under the ever watchful eye of Judy ourselves. That was a bit exciting.
Yeah.
This is the first party I've thrown since COVID. Yeah. I used to throw parties all the time. I was a mad party queen back in my heyday.
We have heard.
I've heard stories, Vera. My favorite part was when he tried to steal my husband.
I still am not over that. So don't close your eyes, Brooke.
Oh, that was so funny when we got back to the house.
Vera, is it true you used to throw a mean bra and panties party as well?
I don't know what a bra and panties party is.
A circle jerk.
Oh.
It's keys in the bowl, ball goes in the pool.
Oh, God.
That kind of party.
That I know of.
I'm like, oh my Lord.
She was a theater chick, so you know the theater chicks are crazy.
Well, I kept telling you guys.
Now, we also took a bit of a road trip as well. Vera is an absolute champion and drove
Really?
myself,
I thought you were going to say absolute maniac.
Katie,
I terrified Bruce.
Luke, Brooke's husband Chris, and Buffy,
Buffs.
Luke's daughter, all the way to Salem, Massachusetts.
Oh.
We had a big adventure.
Bucket list.
In Jeff's
Okay,
car.
tell the truth. There was a whole bunch of drama with the bitch that's not on the show. Let's talk about it.
We will not do that while someone.
Look at
Christina thinks she's down.
Hang on a second.
Like, let me get my popcorn. This bitch over here.
She
Wow.
got feelings, Christina, and she wasn't happy, girl.
All right, but the most important thing is we unwittingly
I told you I was going to do it.
stayed in a haunted Airbnb.
Oh, it was so
I
good.
know.
Brooke, what did you think? Like, how was your experience? Since you're so into that stuff, like, how was it? Like, did it live up to everything you wanted it to live up to? Like,
Salem's still cleaning up the streets.
It was actually a bucket list dream come true for me. I loved every single minute of it. I did not squirt all over Salem as Luke just suggested.
She wore a pad.
I was like, well, my para depends. It's fine.
good idea.
But no, I absolutely loved it. I spent a fortune. I had the time of my life, and I'm so grateful to Vera for driving and not killing us because there were options. No, I loved every single second of it, and I'm already planning a return trip. So
Awesome.
Just not in the haunted B&B.
no,
The haunted Airbnb just did not go down.
It was
I
pretty
think
bizarre.
I maybe over
It's
that
on-
weekend got about less than 6 hours sleep altogether because something was knocking
Was it
around
really haunted?
upstairs. Yeah.
something knocked on
was
mine and Chris's door.
While we all went upstairs to bed, there was walking around, there was knocking on doors, there was like little whispers.
Do you think
and
the
stuff like that.
hotel staff fucks with you though? Like,
My child came and told us
There was
the
nobody
front
there
door
but
was
us.
open and we were like,
Oh,
There were
really?
People in the
Yeah.
it was
Airbnb.
open.
oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yippee.
never a dull moment.
Hi,
Hey,
Kaz!
Kaz! Woo! We miss you, Kaz. So we've had an eventful week since you last saw us. The news of the week has been pretty eventful too. So, are we feeling ready to jump in, ladies and gentlemen? Let's get moist with
I
this
have a lot.
week.
Hot load of hot topics.
Never.
Okay, there is no running, there is no hiding, because we are gonna talk about the man himself, he who is soon to be quite fucked, the 45th president of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump.
Private citizen.
Yeah, private citizen Donald Trump. Now, wow. For those of us that aren't following this, he has been brought to deposition and basically knowingly defrauded the country, produced fraudulent documents, etc., etc. We have to go to Miss Vera first because I'm sure she has feelings.
I told you so. I told you so. I've been saying this for 4 fucking years. He's a crook. He's grifting. This isn't right. You're not supposed to do this. Governments have rules. He's breaking them all.
Well, look, he is well and truly screwed, I think, if he's going to stick to doing, and being a private citizen now. Who's going to protect the Donald?
Well, I don't think he's going to go to prison. I really don't. And I don't know that I even want him to go to prison. I just don't want him to be so in control of the Republican Party. As you all know, this was my party. I was a Republican up until Donald Trump. I feel that the things that he's done to that party and to our government are unforgivable. And I want him gone from the party completely.
Well, you never know. You might get your luck. You never know. Yeah, so he's in big trouble. Someone who else is joining us. We've had a knock on our door. Hey,
Hi.
Come on. Oh, Dakota!
I fell asleep. I'm horrible. I'm sorry. Don't zoom in on me.
So
Maybe
Dakota,
she was the ghost that was knocking on your and Chris's door.
It probably was me.
we have just been talking about the get together. So tell us about your road trip.
Well, I didn't get murdered, though I thought I would be. I'm so embarrassed. No, it was different driving 6 hours alone, especially, I have really bad anxiety. So that was fun, but it was so worth it. You guys are all so amazing and welcoming, and I had a good time. I accused some people of murder, but it didn't happen. So
It was Luke, wasn't it?
no,
It was actually Chris, Vera. It was Chris.
And Andy.
Chris and Andy
And
tried
Andy,
to stab
yeah.
her. The two least likely people to stab
Right.
anyone.
I'm
And
crazy.
Dakota went for it. It was great.
It's just me.
I still think it was Luke wearing
No.
his Christmas.
Let's just say the paranoia might have been chemically induced, but who knows?
Perhaps.
Who can say?
Luke did it. Luke did it.
No comment.
It was the brownie.
It was the
brownies
it
that
was
brought
the
everyone
brownie.
undone. But back to the Donald. There's how is he going to get out of this? Because it surely has to rule him out for running for another.
I don't know that the remainder of people in the Republican Party have ruled him out for anything. I think that his supporters would support him tomorrow, even if he killed a baby on the main street in New York City. Not that there's a main street in New York City. I've been to New York, I know.
No, this is just a
Big 49.
deposition.
But he's not convicted yet, so until he's got a conviction, he can run again.
I don't know.
I think the prosecutors could cut a deal that you were never going to run. You're going to step down from power. You can stay a free man. I think that they would cut that deal. I do
One
think
would
so.
hope. What can he get away with then? If he gets away with this, then
Well, there
there's
are
no
many
there's no
people.
responsibilities.
Many people with memories longer than mine who firmly believe that this goes back to Nixon and that letting Nixon get away with Watergate and not getting prosecuted, and then letting Bush get away with the Iran-Contra and not getting prosecuted has allowed this escalation of wrongdoings. I don't know. I can't say definitively that it is the case, that those are the reasons that this keeps getting worse and worse. But there are certainly people out there arguing for prison. I don't think he needs to go to prison. I think this can be solved without Donald Trump going to prison, but that's just
I
my
would just
take.
be happy if it took him out of the running. There's enough damage that's been done already without a second attempt at bringing the world to its knees. I mean, he's already done it with getting in bed with Russia, but we'll see.
Well,
we'll see. There's always tomorrow.
We'll see. Yeah.
Unless you're the Prime Minister of Britain, then
Can you believe that?
Sure.
I have been so into having you guys here that I haven't been paying attention, and that news just gobsmacked me today. It's like, are you kidding? She's only been in power for 3 freaking weeks.
How did this happen? Liz Truss is gone. She killed the Queen, and now she's out.
But she did look lovely at the funeral. Much prettier than Boris Johnson.
They are not happy chappies over in the UK at the moment, and you cannot really blame them with people having to choose between heat and food and paying their bills in the middle of winter. I can imagine that is not a great situation to be in. But yeah, Liz Truss, we'll see who's going to be. I feel like we're back in Australia. Who's the Prime Minister today? So we went to it a couple of years ago. So you're welcome, UK. Wake up and play. Who is the Prime Minister? When you really actually have to sit there and go, wait, who is the Prime Minister?
Well, that's one of the questions they ask you on a mini mental in a hospital to see if you've got dementia or not. Who is the Prime Minister? Or probably here, who is the President?
It's not Katie McCarthy.
They actually had to skip that question for people because the Prime Minister in Australia changed so regularly over these couple of years. They were like, it's fair enough, because even saying, like, people who aren't senile don't know.
I feel like I missed it.
Well, in the American mini mental,
Prime Minister of Australia is
Albanese.
In the American mini mental, it is definitely who is the President of the United States. And when I was doing home care, it was Obama, and I can't tell you how many old people said, "Oh, the black guy."
Oh no!
The black guy.
oh Jesus!
Very good.
Well, they knew who the president was.
I bet you they had feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it to him. I figured, you know who is currently president, so I can't, even if you can't remember his name.
Did you deal with the fallout?
Oh, I got it.
Okay, well, we're going to go from one crazy social media person to another who is well and truly flipped the fuck out. Ladies and gentlemen, Kanye West has well and truly flipped the script on any kind of crazy. I mean, it changes by the minute. It changes by the second. You can't anticipate on what's happening. In one of his latest rants, he has now said that he is going to buy the social media app Parler so that his voice can be heard free and clear, no repercussions, that nothing can happen to him, that, the state of America, rah, 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 rah. Howard Stern put it straight, how come Britney Spears can be put on a 15-year, restriction?
Conservatorship, yes.
Conservatorship. And Kanye is allowed to basically call for a second Holocaust.
Yeah.
Right.
He's a bad parent. He doesn't have anybody watching over him. His manager is a piece of shit. Obviously, nobody's taking care of what he's doing.
He hasn't been right since his mom passed, but
Well, the other day when he had his rant about Jews and stuff, I was like, I don't know who this guy is even trying to appeal to. Like, it's just, you can actually tell he's not well.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Like, if you heard, Mel Gibson had a good go at it as well. Like, it's just...
Maybe he's just sick of being the butt of the joke.
But
he definitely needs a cuddle coat and some time in a padded cell.
I don't think he understands.
What is funny about it?
Understands like I don't think it's even funny. I think it's scary at this point for anyone that is around him.
Yeah.
I as Kim Kardashian, like we are not fans of Kim Kardashian on this show, but I can't imagine that you would want to let your children anywhere near that man.
No.
Not
Right.
unsupervised.
Or your extended family
Oh.
or anything like that, because he just flips. And if he can do what he does on social media, what is that energy like in person?
Right.
Yeah.
It would be chaotic and just I could not
Destructive.
imagine. He needs to be hospitalized for everyone around him's protection. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
His own too.
It's insane how many
really,
people still
actually-
follow him though. Like he
Oh,
still
yeah.
has such a huge following.
But that's
Oh,
the thing, though. We live in a time now where, like, you know, people can find their own people no matter how fucked up they are. They'll find each other because everyone's just so interconnected now. That's why you got things like 4chan, where you got like psychos and racists and all of this getting together, and they just fester.
Yeah.
So yeah, he will have a following.
You know, I hate it when my paranoid friends are right, but one of my very dear friends has been saying for a while that the social norm is not going to stabilize until some supervillain takes out the internet. And because you have all these shadow groups that keep feeding each other and causing these frenzies, I kind of think maybe he's right, and it scares the hell out of me even more because I thought it was just a paranoid pot-induced rant, but he might be onto something.
Yeah.
No,
That's more of a culprit.
there needs to be blow darting and the butterfly net. I think is in the future. But he still can make music that sells. Sells is a question of its own these days. That
But,
people
I mean,
stream. You know, people
Does
still
anybody
stream his
think any
music.
of the last couple, releases were that good?
It still tops the charts when he brings stuff out, though.
I've never liked his music, so I can't even say.
Even with this though, it's like everybody loves to watch him fall though. You know, like everybody loves this because we're eating it up. It's
They call it tall
We're
poppy
talking about
syndrome.
it for sure.
They love
But
to watch
nobody's
someone
like-
get up high and then
Cut him down.
We
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
a train wreck.
but nobody's like, okay, well, how can we help him? Like, because it's clear that he's in trouble. Like, but nobody gives a shit because either it's just Kanye being Kanye.
Yeah, look,
Like,
whether
oh, so he's just
anyone-
talking crazy, or is it like he's truly mentally unstable? Like,
Yeah.
like Katie
whether
McCarthy.
anyone is actually
you
going
know.
to step in and stop it is the big question, and how far it
Did I
has to
miss
go
some-
before, whether it has
Well-
to end in some kind of violence or.
Well,
Or a
sometimes you
conservatorship.
gotta-
Or a conservatorship. Proof positive that this country is misogynist.
Oh.
Britney Spears cut her hair and she's on a conservatorship.
Yep.
Kanye West threatened genocide and he's not.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the way, it's not even the modern day thing. Look at the way they treated Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
they put
Yeah.
drugs up her ass.
Like,
Judy.
yeah,
Amanda Bynes.
it's a
Amanda
long-standing problem in society that the women seem to be like, let's shoot him down. But as soon
Yeah.
as
Right.
a man that has power, the thing that is a worry for me is that he has influence over people. He has this Sunday service church thing that people go to. He now has a school for children.
So he's got like main character energy.
What kind of power? That's really concerning. That it's not that far a step to indoctrination, to doing all that kind of thing. I keep joking about Jim Jones, but that's the big energy that's
It
serving
is.
me. I'm like,
Like, do you
This-
reckon Kanye
it's not
could
good.
do a modern Manson family kind of thing?
I don't think it'll be that.
Oh.
I don't think it'll get to that, but I think he will self-destruct in very interesting ways that we will obviously keep following. Now, while we've been away, we have had a few couple of movie nights, and we had a movie night the other night because we found out that there's going to be a sequel to Twister. Say what?
And why did we watch this again?
Because we found out there was going to be a sequel to Twister. We went, we should watch Twister.
And we did enjoy it.
We did enjoy it.
Great
We
movie.
I
did.
went to bed.
Now the sequel is
You missed it.
the sequel is creatively titled Twisters
Okay.
at the moment,
There's more than one.
and will reportedly focus on Helen Hunt's daughter. Now they're trying to get Helen Hunt back. I think this is another one of those big reboot recall moments where we've got the original star coming back for a new generation spin-off. But I love Twist. Watching it again the other night, I'm like, I love this movie.
It was a good movie. It was.
Oh, she would have been. She could have driven straight into the Twisters.
She could have drove Dorothy straight in.
Is your daughter's name Dorothy?
I tell you who wouldn't drive into the Twister because she don't like driving in the city.
Anyway, so we're going to move on.
Not me. I drive.
Okay.
Oh, it's
I'm hammered and
I used to hear so many things. I just so left out.
There's been a bit of sad news in the media this week as well. Late last week, we had the death of Robbie Coltrane. Now, this is hitting hard for a couple of generations of Harry Potter fans, of course. Now, who's the Harry Potter head here? Come on. Anyone else? Vera.
I cried.
I've only
Yeah,
just
seen
started
one
watching
movie.
it, but Robbie Coltrane's a great actor, so it's very sad.
So good.
Very sad that he passed away, and
Yes.
you know we're losing them. We had Angela Lansbury last week,
I thought he was gonna
Robbie
say
this
Linda.
week, and then we've got one more. It comes in threes,
I thought it
so we
What
need
about
to
what
know.
happened to Ian H?
We need to know what else happens. Who else is coming on?
Michael J. Fox didn't look far from the grave either. He looked fucking terrible last week.
Alrighty. So a bit more sad news. The other night, Monday night, I think it is here. It's in America.
Oh, she could be next.
Selma Blair had to remove herself from competing on Dancing with the Stars. Sadly, because
Culture.
Oh, she's not out. She's out of remission. She's got a flare up, right?
Yeah, they said she had like little tears and stuff and like some bone trauma.
Oh, okay. So it's not the MS or lupus or whatever.
no, it's the MS. She said that her doctors have advised her to no longer compete. So it's a horrible thing for her.
That's too
She's
bad.
done a great.
Yeah.
She's done a great thing for the invisible illness community, but
Right.
I think
She
we
did
all
very
had the same
well.
feeling when she entered the competition of how far could she push herself, and this is as far as it goes. 4 weeks, I think it's 4 weeks, 5 weeks, but this is a hectic schedule.
I was going to say the
Yeah.
training schedule that she would have been going through would have been for weeks before the competition, you would imagine, and then to go 4 weeks into the competition. I mean, look, hats off to her. I couldn't do it, and I'm apparently healthy. So apparently, heard a rumor, but more power to her. I saw a couple of her performances on YouTube, and I thought she did a brilliant job.
She did amazing. She wasn't like even playing it safe. She did cartwheels and splits. Like it was beautiful. Like her first dance, I cried. Like I'm a sensitive bitch. Like it was beautiful. Like I don't know, good for her. And I think if she could have like withstood it, she probably could have won. But actually, Charlie D'Amelio will probably win because of all of her little followers.
But you never know. Look, I think that she did an amazing thing, and it's to be to be applauded. She did a great thing as someone with and gave visibility to the illness that she has, and hopefully things can improve for Selma. She's done a great thing so far. So we're gonna talk about an angel that is an angel on earth this week. The one and only Ms. Dolly Parton. I mean, who doesn't like Dolly?
Love a little Dolly.
Love
Dolly
Dolly.
Parton has been honoured for her philanthropy. Oh, I will try that again. Philanthropy. Whoa, nope.
Hey, don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself.
Philanthropy this week. Dolly does a lot of charity. Dolly does a lot. So I think that shining a light on some good stuff is always does. She does a lot of literacy stuff. She does a lot of.
She does. She does the free books for children every year or every month. I don't even know, but it's definitely it's called Dali's. Oh God, I'm going to be in trouble because my sister runs literacy, Cuga County. But she gives books. Her charity gives books to these underserved communities for children in need. Actually, they don't ever ask for any child who asks for a book will get a book. It's not based on financial need, but it has provided hundreds and millions of books to children who wouldn't normally get them, and more books to children whose parents could get them. It's just a wonderful charity, and regardless of financial ability, she's amazing. She actually was one of the first people to speak out for gay rights and AIDS charities too. You know, Dali's.
She does a lot for her employees as well. We covered it. I think it was earlier this year or late last year.
Mm-hmm.
If you work at Dollywood and work for Dolly, your higher education is paid for, books, all that kind of stuff. She makes sure that no matter how long you have worked for her organization, your ride is paid for, even if you're not currently working there yet and you're enrolled in college. All of that is taken care of. I think that her coming from her small town, you know, she was po back in the day.
Yeah.
And she has a big need and want to give people things that she never had herself, which is amazing. She doesn't have kids, does she?
No, she's never had children. She's also just revitalized that area. It was an area of high poverty in the Appalachian Mountains, and it's completely revitalized the area. The economy has, you know, turned around, and she's lifted the people in her hometown out of poverty. You know, she's pretty amazing.
She's the
her own theme park. I mean, come on. Who would want their own theme park?
Yeah.
I am a bit.
But with that theme
upset.
park, she didn't place it somewhere that already had jobs. She placed it in her little town that had no jobs and no economy, and she created a tourist economy for the people she grew up with, so that they wouldn't be living in the abject poverty that they grew up in. You know, I mean, and she does it, you know, the amount of money that she put towards the AIDS vaccine was amazing. You know, she could be so much richer, but she gives so much away.
She was very much at the forefront of the coronavirus stuff as well.
Yep.
So like she pledged a lot of money to work on that. So I think it's good to see Dolly getting honored for her, you know, her wins that we don't see. I mean, she plays an angel a lot on TV movies. So, but she's real life goodness. She's real life goodness. All right. So this week has been full of adventures. We went to see a movie together this week. Whether people enjoyed it or not is another thing. We went and saw Halloween Kills together. Now, the premiere of Halloween Kills has been a bit controversial as well. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis took to the red carpet with her now daughter, Ruby Guest, as the debut of her trans daughter, and that's a great thing for trans visibility. There's been a bit of a revelation today. Was that article from it you sent me?
It was from the premiere.
Yeah, so from the premiere, Danielle Harris, who played Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter in Halloween 4 and 5, and Scout Taylor Compton, who played Laurie Strode in Rob Zombie's Halloween movies, who had never met Jamie Lee Curtis and hadn't been involved in anything to do with these new movies, were invited to the premiere of this final movie. And they were excited because they thought they would get the chance to meet her. And that has not gone well, apparently. According to their podcast, they have their own podcast. Danielle said that she went up to introduce herself to Jamie Lee and said, "Oh, I actually played your daughter in Halloween 4 or 5." She said, and the quote was, "I never saw those movies. I don't know who you are."
Oh,
Wow.
Ooh.
That
Yeah.
hurts.
Scout Taylor Compton wouldn't reveal her experience, but cried when she talked about it. They said they walked away feeling hurt and disappointed from
Wow.
Jamie Lee Curtis has been everywhere for the last 2 weeks. I can imagine.
well,
that
she
she's
owns a
taken-
share of this movie, right?
Yeah, she got a big share.
Executive
She
producer.
chunk.
got
Yeah.
a big share in this
Yeah.
movie.
So it's important to her that this movie
It is
fly.
important, but I don't think
There is actually what's the thing, where people they start a petition. Fans have started a petition for them to reshoot the movie because they hate it
So much.
Wow.
but it's
Wow.
already breaking. It's already hitting really well at the box office. So who knows what will happen there? We will be doing a review of Halloween Ends. So stay tuned if you're an uncensored horror fan. That is to come. But yeah, I think Jamie Lee might be at the end of her tether when it comes to Halloween. She might have just had enough, and
Mhm.
those girls copped it sweet from her, and not in a good way. I mean, there's only so
Somebody told me today, and I hadn't heard this until today, and I that the original intention for Halloween was not that they'd keep retelling the same story, but that they'd create new villains and new stories every Halloween every year, and give other horror directors a chance to prove their mettle, which definitely
That's
hasn't
correct, yeah,
happened.
Michael Myers was only ever really intended for one entry, and that's they kind of got lightning in a bottle. Did the second sequel, and then they tried to do the third one without him. So if you haven't seen Season of the Witch, don't expect Michael Myers in Halloween 3. For anyone that hasn't seen it, he's in everything else, but don't expect Michael Myers in Halloween 3.
Well, he's not really in Halloween Ends. Spoiler.
We'll save that spoiler for later. So we're going to go from celluloid drama and murder to real life drama and murder. This week, one of the Manson family, Patricia Krenwinkel, was denied parole for the 15th time. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with the Manson family murders, Patricia Krenwinkel was the killer of Abigail Folger, who was the heiress to the Folger's coffee.
What a waste.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dynasty. And she also was part of the murder of Rosemary LaBianca. She wrote, Death to Pigs in Blood.
And Helter
Skelter, all that good stuff. So she is well and truly part. Yeah, I don't know what's happening there. There's well and truly part of the murder and mayhem and madness that the Manson family have wrought on our history. But we are looking now at the question of rehabilitation. Do you think that someone like that deserves a chance at rehabilitation?
Not at all. Hi, Daniela. Not at all. She doesn't deserve a chance at rehabilitation at all. Why does she deserve a chance to rehabilitate into society when she took away 3 people's lives? She was very involved in 3 of those people being brutally murdered. And I cannot stress enough that she deserves to stay exactly where she is. It's not okay what she did. It's not okay what they did in general. But I took 3 lives, but I was young. Let me out of jail now. No, fuck off.
The problem for me is that it's never really that they have dealt with their mental illness or the issues that drove them there. It's that they find God and use God or religion or whatever you want to call it as some kind of oopsie daisy that fixes everything, cure all, put a band-aid on it. We have 2 nurses on the panel that see mentally ill patients and have dealt with mentally ill patients in their. This thing doesn't just fix itself like that. It's not something that you can go, oh, I hope that's okay.
There are people who, if you catch them young enough and you get them on the right cocktail, can function very normally in society. You know, it is the exception right now, but some of the long-acting injectable medications are working wonders for people with psychoses and borderline personality disorders and other mental illnesses. I got good things to say about the new meds coming through for psych meds. I do think that if it's caught, yeah, I mean, just like with seizure disorders, mental illness, every exacerbation creates more damage. So you get less and less full functionality as you age. But if you catch somebody in their late teens, early 20s and get them on the right cocktail, you can you can have a fully functioning adult without, their life won't be perfect, but nobody's life is perfect, but their life will be less dramatic and less heinous. And, I do think that there is rehabilitation. I don't know that she's found it in God. I'm not a big believer in God. I've said that before on air, but I think rehabilitation is possible. I don't know that God's the answer.
You would hope that some kind of rehabilitation is possible, but whether it warrants release at this point.
I do know that from patients that I've had who become incarcerated after treatment, that very rarely does their meds follow them into incarceration, that they end up off their meds and just at a loose end.
Well, Dakota, you're the youngest person on the panel, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How much do you know about all of this? And do you think I guess a lot of people think because they're so far removed from it that it doesn't really matter, but what are your thoughts?
I mean, I know somewhat about it, but I just think if you commit such bad crimes, you kind of made your bed and you just should stay there. Like, if you do horrible things, I don't know if there's any looking back, especially like Vera said, when you're incarcerated, I don't think I don't know. I don't think people are really taking that time to really work on themselves in the right way. I don't know. I'm weird. I just woke up.
That's fair enough. Christina, what about you? What's your thoughts on this kind of drama?
I think that again, over time, yeah, you definitely can be rehabilitated and find your way. And if God is the way that you find it, then great. But again, like all the other prisoners, it's God that they look to. But I feel like with her, she was coerced. So she can be coerced again. I feel like your mindset in that way doesn't change because she was so young and she was manipulated, or not really manipulated because she did it herself.
Groomed.
Charles,
dare we use the word groomed?
Exactly. Charles groomed these girls to go and kill these people. And it's just, what if she wants to be that person? What if she wants to become Charles when she comes out? What happens then? And
what if she meets another Charles?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. She obviously likes the attention of men. So wonder if she meets another guy that tries to talk her into doing bad things.
Influenced.
And if God, just to clarify, if God is your path and that does find you redemption, I'm not against it. It just, I haven't seen it, It's not my chosen path.
No, of course. And I this is a completely different situation, but my friend from high school was actually just released from prison after 17 years. And he was released because of a certain act that was put into law or whatever. And he didn't do it. That's what the thing was. It was a cover up for somebody else and took the rap full on, no looking back, hardcore, took the rap for it. And now that he's out, I was able to talk to him the other night, and he is just like the same person that he was. Like, he's just so happy. And he said, going through that made me the person that I am today. And he said, I don't want to sound like another person, like one of those cliches. He goes, but I really did find God. And we were all joking, like, oh, what, you have a Bible? I said, you should just like carve out the inside, like Shawshank Redemption. Like, I was just fucking with him. And he's like, no, no, no. And he ran and he got it. And he's like, I have it. He goes, I'm not walking around with it, but I'm living my life to that purpose, like to a higher purpose. So that, if he can find it that way, then great. But you know, other people don't, and I don't think she's going to at all. But I know that in my eyes, I asked him, I said, are you okay? Like, have you found the right therapist? What's going on with you? Like, are you in the right mental space? And he goes, I'm getting there, you know, because it's 17 years locked up. I don't know how long she's been locked up, clearly a lot longer, but she killed 3 people. Like, again, it's just a whole different situation. And she should never be let free. That is a completely different situation than my friend. And he is, again, on the mend, I guess, but she is just fucking crazy. And
regardless of what
no
happens,
remorse.
as the judge said, she is a blight on the psyche of not only California, but generations of people. Like, she's never going to get out of prison and be a normal person.
Right.
She's not going to be a contributing member of society. She may do something positive, but I think the most positive thing that can happen is her staying behind bars and, you know.
And she'll be a target too. I mean, her safety alone. What would her life be?
As Christina and I were talking about last week, there is a lot that goes down in prison. She's probably, you know, if she never had the initial mental illness addressed, probably has a whole new set of illnesses in the form of PTSD. You know,
100%.
And she'd be an ugly cunt even in there.
Prison does hard things to people.
Yes, it does.
Hard things.
I mean, if rehabilitation is our goal, I don't think prison is the answer.
Yes, exactly. All right, I have a question for everyone, so we're going to jump into this week's View from. Okay, so there's an article on the page this week all about Santa Claus. He is coming. He's unstoppable, like Mariah Carey and Michael Bublé. He's just on the horizon. October is nearing its end. We get Halloween, we get Thanksgiving, we get Christmas. Now, there's been a couple that I posted an article about saying that they will not gaslight their child into the universal lie that Santa Claus is real. We will tell our child the truth about everything, no matter what. Now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 parents on the Vera. You've got nieces and nephews. Dakota, you've got nieces and nephews. Does Santa really hurt anyone?
No.
Believing in Santa Claus? Is that some kind of lie? Do you want to start, Luke? You've got a younger child that...
Well, the thing is, children have imaginations, and so their imagination should be allowed to flourish. You know what? Like, my child believes a lot of things. She believes in the fairy, fucking tooth fairy, Santa, whatever else. And, you know, I think as long as a lie is not in malice and it's for the beneficence or just to help someone have an enjoyable childhood, then what's the harm? It's the same as when we go into adulthood. You know, you have niceties with people, even if you think they're a fucking prick.
Brooke, what about you?
Look, so my kids' age ranges are quite different. So my 13-year-old is aware that Santa is me, and my husband, and he only figured it out this year, I've got to be honest. But, you know, he's also well aware that he needs to keep that magic alive for his brothers and sisters. You know, one of his brothers having superpowers. It's a thing in our household. I think that Santa Claus is great. And I remember finding out that he wasn't real and then going, oh, my God, my parents are amazing that they did this for me for all of this time and let me believe in that magic. So I believe, you know, every kid should be given that opportunity.
I don't think there's anyone on the panel ever came to the realization that Santa's not real and felt so betrayed by your parents.
Oh yeah.
I did.
Yeah, but she hates your mother.
I
so-
shit in my mom's food. I was so mad. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
What about, so Jeff, what you've got kids? Do you think it's lying that it's any kind of horror that is unforgivable?
Yeah, I don't really care for the whole thing. I don't make it a very big deal. And I don't, you know, I don't make it very
festive.
Yeah, like we don't.
Christmas isn't the be all and end all. Is what you're trying to
pretty
say.
low key. It's pretty low key.
Does Santa bring them a present?
Oh my god, yeah, they get a lot of gifts, but it's not like the big thing that I used to do. I'd rather take that and go. Let's go somewhere. Let's go do something. Let's go spend time together. Let's go make memories. Like we don't need material shit. You know, when it got to the point where I was spending like $5,000, $6,000 a year on Christmas, it was like, this is fucking bananas. Like we could be going to an island somewhere. it wasn't right, and I just no, you know. So I mean, Aiden's old enough where he's kind of figuring out, oh, the gifts are out in the garage, and they're you know what I mean. I'm like, okay, what do you want Daddy to order? You know what I mean? Like we don't go see Santa. I'm like, oh, we'll call him at the North Pole. You know, we'll let him know or whatever. But I'm like, okay, what do you want? Show me what you want. You know, we pick it out on Amazon together.
My parents, my mom and my stepfather, giving me my bike when I was 7. So I knew then that Santa wasn't real. I'd already heard whispers because I had a lot of older brothers. And I was quite happy, though, to pretend I still believed in him to get some good shit. So...
Oh, I thought it was fun because I got to go shopping with my mother after that and help her.
Yeah.
So that was like fun for me. It became something different. You know what I mean? I got to be in on the secret and help her with the little brother thing. So that was a cool thing.
It's what Jaden does now.
Yes.
So he was excited to help us pick out the Easter eggs from the Easter Bunny and things.
So Vera, you'd be Santa's hype man, right? You, as Auntie Vera, you get
him.
I love
the presents and mean nothing.
I love the magic of Christmas. I really do, and I love the idea of Santa. I do see the other side. I mean, it's really hard for the poor families whose kids aren't going to get an Xbox, whose kids can't get, the latest and greatest toys, who are mom and dad are lucky if they can get them crayons and a coloring book, and I see how hurtful that must be to them to feel like, Santa doesn't love me. I know my sister always had Santa bring socks and underwear because she said, I work hard for those gifts. He's going to know the Xbox came from mom and dad,
Yeah. Well, you put the cheap gifts from Santa and the expensive shit from mom and dad.
Yeah.
Christina, you've got the youngest kids on the panel. And you are well and truly Christmas for a little while.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that pressure, especially with, especially with kids growing up, they compare themselves to their friends and what their friends get for Christmas and da-da-da-da-da.
I mean, and I have like a 10, a 9, and an 8-year-old niece. Like, these kids are fucking crazy. So it's, some of them know, like my oldest one, I think she knows, like Daisy, she probably knows that there's no Santa already. But again, she's keeping the magic alive for the other girls. And my daughter knows that, like, Santa gets her, like you said, the cheap shit. And Santa wraps the gifts like mommy doesn't. Like, so, some things are wrapped for her, and the shit that mom gets for her, I don't wrap. So it's just, sometimes I switch it up. So, and my mom even did the same thing for us. There was a lot of stuff from just mom and dad and only a couple of things from Santa. Like, it wasn't a big thing when we were growing up. And now it's like over saturated with the elf on a shelf, and he reports to Santa every night. You got to live up to this expectation. My kid will not have an elf on the shelf. I don't want one. Like, my niece has fucking 2. Like, what is the fucking point to that? Like, no. Like, and my husband actually threatened my daughter tonight for dinner. Like, he's like, eat your dinner, Santa's watching. And I'm like, Good one, but we can use that. I mean, shit, she's young enough, but you can't use
You
it on
can't
the
start it in
15th, right?
September.
Exactly, right? No, it
Did you
started
have
early,
meatballs?
but what?
Did you have meatballs for dinner?
Oh my God, Jeffrey, they were delicious.
Because I help.
Oh, they were so good.
Now, Dakota, you're fun art. You do fun art things. Are you a big Christmas person?
No, I'm actually like the Grinch. I'm a Halloween bitch. I don't like Christmas very much. I don't know why. I think my problem with Christmas is so many people make it about gifts, and I'm like, isn't it supposed to be like about like family and stuff like that? But my parents tried to keep the whole Santa's real thing alive. I actually just found out when you guys said it, so thanks for that.
You mess.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, I actually found out when I was really young that Santa wasn't alive, and that's on anxiety because I realized, oh, Santa and Mommy have the same handwriting. Like my mom didn't try and like switch it up, so I like realized it. But like I don't see any harm in it. I mean, like my parents did the same thing. They did the cheaper gifts from Santa and the more expensive gifts from them. So there's no harm in it. If it's your tradition, it is, and if it's not, it's not. I mean, as long as you're not harming your kid, do what you want,
Right?
Namaste.
Mm-hmm.
There are bigger problems than Santa in the world.
Yeah.
I think we've
There
come down
are,
to. We
absolutely.
come to the conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Things get very heated around Christmas and around Christmas time, but someone else gets very heated all year round. She's a one-pot screamer, and we
I
love
could see
her.
it at the beach.
Here's Vera, so get ready for this week's Vera Vest. Okay, V, you ready? Here we go. 3. Oh, hold on, I got it. 2, 1, Vest.
All right, kids. Gonna be a little school teachery here today. I know that every new polls are coming out every day on this election. We're getting closer to the end, thank God, because believe it or not, as political as I can be, I fucking hate election season. I hate the ads. I hate the signs. I just want to scream, "You're fucking lying, you're fucking lying, you're fucking lying." But a new poll came out today that said the biggest issue is the economy. And I'd like to talk about that because I think that part of the dumbing down of America is that nobody knows exactly what the economy means. A lot of people think it means the stock market. A lot of people think it means unemployment. A lot of things are represented as part of the economy that aren't really part of the economy. The stock market does not drive the economy. Unemployment does not drive the economy. They can be emotional indicators, but basically the economy is the means of production and distribution of goods and services. And in our present day world, we have a global economy. So let's talk about this recession that everybody's blaming Biden on. This is a global recession. This is a global recession. The United States, as much as we like to think we're the biggest, best, and brightest in the whole entire planet, we really are not, and we are not driving this fucking bus. The reason we are in or about to enter a global recession has very little to do with Joe Biden. First and foremost, there was COVID. And the reality is that COVID, through months and months of isolation, months and months of low production, months and months of low consumption, has depressed the economy. Not to mention the fact that millions and millions of workers died, creating a dearth of labor. And millions more globally, again, retired because they did not want to put themselves in harm's way. Other things that affect a global economy, natural disasters. We are in the height or in the throes of global climate calamity. We have superstorms raging all over the planet, not just hitting Florida. I know we like to think we're the only ones who get hit with disasters. Wildfires ravaging Australia, France, parts of Spain, all of California, flooding several years ago in France. I mean, these are climate change disasters. And these disrupt the economy of the world, the production, manufacturing, and distribution of goods and services. And this is the supply chain problem that we're having. I know y'all want to blame Joe Biden, but this isn't the thing you blame him on. If you want to vote against his social policies, which are not socialism, that's fine. But you cannot blame this economy on Joe Biden any more than you could blame it on Donald Trump. I know I have a lot of things to say about Donald Trump, but this is a global economic downturn. Stock market isn't what did it. Unemployment isn't what did it. Trump didn't do it. Biden didn't do it. It's all over the world. That's the lesson today.
Very well said. As
Very well
usual.
said.
Very, very well
I
said.
missed those.
Well, we have vented, we have done all the things. So that all that is left for us to say is fare thee well.
That's all.
We shall see you next week. Thank you for joining us, Miss Christina, Vera, Dakota, Jeff. What's your name? Brooke. We will see you all next week for Uncensored Horror, and then back in some way, somehow. But
Some form.
we're going to be on the different coast, but we'll figure that out because that's our problem, not yours. Stay cool. Thanks for watching Uncensored Radio. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.